Hello everyone. Today we continue our discussion on vector algebra. So if you recall that in a previous lesson we already showed that vector A is equals to 3 times I cap, vector B is 4 times J cap, and vector C is equals to the magnitude of vector C times C cap. Now in a previous video we've already determined that vector C, the magnitude of vector C is equals to 5 using the Pythagorean theorem. So therefore we can say that, or let's just erase this. Therefore we can say that we can replace this with what? 5. So then we can say that the magnitude of vector C is just 5 times C cap. However, the problem now arises. Looking at C cap, we don't know what direction it is. Unlike when we see I cap and J cap, we already know that okay, I cap is pointing in the X direction and J cap is pointing in the Y direction. So, but we don't know what is C cap pointing to if no one tells us. But if someone was here just to show you that this is for that vector so maybe vector B or vector D or vector any way you want to represent it, it is 4I. You already know that that the vector has a magnitude of 4 and is going in the direction of what? X-axis. Same thing if they tell you that vector Z, for example, is what? 8J. You already know that okay, this vector has a magnitude of 8 and it's going in the y-axis. But if I tell you that vector C is 5 in the C direction, you'll be like, what direction is C direction? Because C is not a conventional direction. So this is what will lead us to another way to represent a vector. So now going back to this vector diagram, we already proved, or we have already told ourselves that vector C, its components are what? Vectors A and B, right? Vectors A and B are the components of vector C, because the only way we could get from the tail of vector C to its tip is either by going through vector A, the part of vector A, and then the part of vector B. So then why can't we just represent vector C using what? Using vectors A and B? So this leads to another way to represent a vector. Since vector C is just a combination of A and B, we can say that vector C is equals to what? Vector C is equals to what? We use what is vector A? We have already proven that vector A is equals to 3I. So we can just say that vector C is equals to 3I cap, then plus what? We go back, since B also is a component of vector C, plus what? Plus 4 plus 4J cap, 4J cap. That's that. So this is another way to represent vector C by using its components. So that will be all for today's lesson. See you guys in the next one lesson. Thank you very much.